Before the video starts, let's play a game. In this little imaginary district, trying to find the best located houses in your opinion. And 10 seconds later, I will show you those best location houses according to Feng Shui principles. So, have you spotted any houses? Well, here they are. Each house represents one bad Feng Shui example, and I will explain to you each case one by one. Hi, welcome to my channel, YN Architecture. I'm here to talk about architecture drawing and design. I believe some of the best architecture inspirations came from everyday experiences, as I think architecture is fundamentally a practice about improving all humans' living standards. So I'm glad to share with you here some of my inspiration and thoughts in my everyday experiences. So if you like my channel, please comment and subscribe. So today's topic is Feng Shui. Maybe you don't know much about it, and maybe you don't believe it at all, but doesn't matter. I will show you some of the Feng Shui examples that are easy to understand and easy to spot in everyday life. So I will let you verify if those Feng Shui rules are reasonable or not. Personally, I understand Feng Shui as traditional Chinese architecture theory, which has thousands of years of experiences and observations. It's a metaphysic theory trying to search the invisible force who binds the universe, earth, and humanity together. I think some of the ancient Feng Shui rules can still teach us one or two designs on city planning and developing the city. There are two major methods in Feng Shui, the form method and the compass method. For me, as an architect, I'm more related to the form method, because it's basically an architecture theory about forms, about how those forms can influence our psychological. And the compass method for me is very supernatural. Basically, I don't have the experiences that allows me to verify it. I know that some people would believe a certain home decoration or arrangement of furniture can make you rich, or even make you win the lottery. But if you know, teach me. The Chinese character LuChong literally means road and rush. It means a property situated at the T crossing, perpendicular with the road. According to Feng Shui, the constant force come towards your house could be disturbing. When I was in Luxembourg, I saw a lot of houses like this, with bad Feng Shui and selling for 1 million euros. But every morning when I drove by the house, I can see inside the room, and I think how uncomfortable it must be. Who wants their privacy being disturbed constantly, right? And other than that, at night there will be light pollution. The room will constantly having the car's light. And there's also risk of traffic incident. T-crossing house is especially bad when the window or entry door is facing the street. If it's the wall, it would be better. And the solution will be plan the house as far as possible from the street, and plant trees in front, and concrete exterior wall to protect from incident and keep your privacy. Tianjin literally means a cut from the sky. This means a building facing the void between two tall buildings. In simple words, it could feel like the tall building is cut by an invisible force, and that momentum is going towards your house. It can be often seen in East Asian countries, and it's quite common that could easily be ignored, but it can have a big impact. Take this district, for example, a typical real estate project in China. And the goal for developer is to sell as much apartment as possible. So there are apartments in bad Feng Shui location where there shouldn't be any apartments. The best thing about this type of bad Feng Shui location is the lack of privacy for the student, kind of like the previous case we just talked. And we also feel the force coming directly at you. There will be physically discomfort because it will be windy between two tall buildings, right? And there isn't much solution to it, just avoid buying this kind of apartment. Fangong means one house is situated near a curvy road. This might be the worst Feng Shui location of all. While the curvy street has the form of a bow and its form momentum coming towards your house like an arrow. And there are two major variations. One is a curvy road or river, and another one is a curvy road above ground floor, like a crossover. Well, it's even worse, like an elevated road or bridge with heavy traffic. It's always creates noise and air pollution, and there's also danger of road accident. Means Caesar in Chinese. Basically, it's a house located at the Y-shaped intersection. So the house is like facing a giant open Caesar, and which is considered really bad because traffic accident might often occurs, and oftentimes intersection like this, traffic is complicated. If the driver doesn't know the road well or distract, he can easily just run into the buildings. And the ground floor is the most affected. And this is bad for residents, but somehow good for commercials. And if it's in the, especially if it's in the city center, a nice location, it could be a good business locations. But if it's situated outside the city where the speed is high, you should avoid it. Yeah, it's good for business, but you have to make sure it's safe. You have to make some protections. The solution will be do not occupy the whole plot, but leave some space and plant some trees to avoid the Caesar-like typology. Here's an example of, in Paris, there's a lot of such examples. And I'm not sure if those French city planners know Feng Shui, but somehow their solution is actually brilliant according to Feng Shui principles. And this proves again my point that Feng Shui is not only supernatural things, but it's just basic architecture rules. Jianjiao means sharp corner, and in architecturally that means when the neighbor building's corner is pointed at your facade, and basically it's unpleasant to facing a corner. And it's very common in European cities because the roads are not straight. And the developer want to maximize the plot, so they could cause a lot of situation like this. And the corner is uncomfortable to watch, and it's especially bad when the corner is pointing at the big glass curtain wall or the entry wall. And the solution will be build tall walls or tall trees to block the view of the corner, to make the corner disappear. Visually, the corner from the force coming directly at you, which can affect our psychological comfort. Transient literally means something like an arrow went across the heart. Architecturally, that means there's emptiness in the center of the facade, or there are some element like infrastructure went through the building. Pipe or the metro tunnel went under the building. It's believed that the invisible force will disturb the residents, and this element, like an arrow, went through the body. The influence is depending on the distance with those infrastructure went through the building. And it's not so common to see, but there are some cities like Chongqing having this kind of buildings. Wow, I've visited Chongqing. It's an amazing city. It's very cyberpunk-like. Has a lot of mountains and a valley in the city. It's quite interesting. But I personally took this metro and went down from this building. As a tourist, it's amazing. I cannot imagine the noise and discomfort of those residents who live near those metro tunnel. And in a small scale, this transient could also mean when a house has a path went through the house from the entry to backyard. That means if you enter the room, you can immediately see through the whole space. Like the entry door is directly facing the balcony. And the Feng Shui don't like this visually see-through thing. It's believed that the qi, the energy, will not stay in the house. You need to hide and gather the energy. Do not let the energy win past the house so quickly. Gejiao literally means cutting feet. It's when the building is too close to the road, and especially when it went beyond the alignment of the neighbor's house. And it's considered bad in ancient time because the house was made by wood and brick structure. So if it's too close to the river, the house will be humid, and it will have the foundation sinking problem. So in modern times, that means when it gets too close to the road, and it will be more easily get influenced by the noise and air pollution. Also, there will be a risk of accidents. Yeah, I remember back then there's one house on my way to work, and every time I pass by, I'm thinking, must be very uncomfortable to live in this house because it's so close to the road. It went so much beyond the alignment of the neighbor's house. So at night, a drunk driver could easily run into the house. That's all for today's video. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm very curious about your opinion on Feng Shui. Please leave your thought on the comment section below. Like and subscribe. Thank you. Until next time.